Do you want to know how amazing people connect? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie.
Thanks for connecting. And if you like what you hear, please share.
Special shout out to our sponsors, Southpaw's Perfect Pizza and Davis Home Inspections. For more information on Davis Home Inspections and their home inspection services, go to davis1.com. And for more information on Southpaw's Perfect Pizza in Albany, Oregon and their fabulous pizza, go to southpawspizza.com. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie, where we are all about amazing people who connect. That's right. You know, my real true belief is that marketing, the foundation of marketing is connection and community building. That's what we're all about. So we talk to amazing people who connect, amazing stories, all the things going on. And today I am blessed with a good friend of mine, Ben Bailey, who I have really not seen for years until recently, and has embarked on a brand new business, Chomp Chocolate, a new twist on chocolate. We're going to talk about that today. I'm really excited to get him in and talk about that. But first, want to remind you who I am. So I'm Russ Hedge. I am your marketing coach. That's right. I am your inspiration specialist because I'm here to inspire and encourage you to live a purpose-driven life of significance. And what does that mean? I want you to be a world changer. I want you to be a difference maker. I want you to use the God-given talents you've been given to get out there and make a difference in this world. And you can do it. You know, as my good friend D. Scott Smith and my co-host of The Experience Live with Russ and Scott says, Scott's always saying, you know, today, the barrier of entry, all it is your willingness to step forward and do something. It's just so easy today to get out there. Well, let me say that again. It's so simple. It's not always easy, but it's simple steps to just move forward and just take action. And I'm super excited to be here to encourage you to do that today, because you know what? This is a wonderful, abundant life we live, and I want you to get out there and take advantage of it. Hey, also, just wanted to remind you that I love to connect with people. That's right. I love to connect with people. You can connect with me easily by going to russhedge.com. That's right, russhedge.com. And you can even schedule time directly on my calendar. I'd love you to do that. You know, my goal this year is to meet and actually connect with over 1,000 new people. And so I need your help in doing that. You know, I love connecting. And right now I'm blowing that out of the water because, you know, it's about 3 people a day. And I am just killing that. So I would love for you to be one of those people that I'm connecting with. So go to russhedge.com for that. Also, always want to remind you, please subscribe on YouTube to this content. You will get not only announcements about upcoming shows, which are every Monday and Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. You'll also have access to all the past content. So you can go to my YouTube page, just type Russ Hedge, it'll take you right to it, or go to russhedge.com and there's links to all my social media, all the ways to get in touch with me. You can go to email, my phone number, whatever you want to schedule time with me. So I really am looking forward to that. Also want to tell you about a couple more quick things, and that is, remember, I told you once before, we're here every Monday and Thursday on Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. And but this week we have a special Tuesday edition. Special Tuesday edition that'll all be around my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. But more importantly, my friend Kevin and the Willamette Valley Christian Supply. He is going to be my guest. He does amazing, amazing things out of his bookstore in Albany, Oregon. We're going to be talking about that. And there's going to be a special on my book in his store. There's also going to be a special on my website on the book. So you got to tune into that. Look for the ads coming up. They're actually, the special starts today. So I'll just tell you that. Special starts today. There's a promo code in the ads on my social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, anywhere you want to look. And you get $5 off if you buy it today, tomorrow, or Wednesday. It's a 3-day deal. And so if you want to take advantage of that and be encouraged through Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, that would be awesome. And I think that is mostly it. Oh, the last thing, LinkedIn newsletter. Got a brand new LinkedIn newsletter. It's called But First Coffee, and it's all about the importance of morning routine. And I think that is so critical. So I want you to be a part of that and get that information so you can subscribe to that directly through LinkedIn, and it'll send it to your email as well. So, okay, now we're good. Now it's time to bring Ben in because we got to get this party started. Here he comes, Mr. Ben Bailey. Hey, Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
I am so good. So good. For those people that don't know, and I'm going to let Ben introduce himself, but Ben and I go way back. We went to church together here in Oregon and Dallas, Oregon, and I was on staff there. Ben was going through a great program there, was a young man. He still is a young man, but he was a younger man at the time. And so we really got a chance to get to know each other back then. And it's been great to be reacquainted. Ben, thanks so much for being here today.
Absolutely, Russ. It's good to see you and chat again. It's been a long time. I'm looking forward to catching up and talking about marketing and business and just life in general. So appreciate you having me.
You bet. You bet. You
Yeah.
know, I just want to first of all give you an opportunity to to let everybody know, what you're all about, where you came from, a little bit of your backstory, and then where you are today, and how in the world you got into chocolate, and a little different
Yeah.
twist on chocolate. So go for it.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it, relatively short, but I've always had an entrepreneur mindset, kind of an independent thinker and always been curious. I think there's a lot of things I can trace back in my life leading to where I'm at now. Going way back briefly, selling candy and baseball cards on the school bus because I knew kids would have their lunch money, and if I got it before they got to lunch, maybe not the best, moral, decision at the time, but as a kid, just being really curious about selling things and how kind of the game of selling worked and what things I could do to sell to people, and then fast forwarding, later in high school and stuff, just being fascinated with, marketing and getting into online marketing for the first time. Cause, I had in the late 90s, I was in high school and that was just kind of at the peak of the .com boom. So I got to see a lot of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I grew up in an interesting era for the internet and just seeing all the opportunities coming out of that. But yeah, I guess my first real business venture was maybe in my mid 20s, and that was flipping houses. So I started flipping houses. So I would do all the work myself, buy a house, rip off the siding, rip out the tile, the trim, all that kind of stuff, give it a facelift, and then resell it. So I did that about four or five houses a year for a couple of years, and then kind of just ended up having some money, and my wife and I were at a place in our lives where we could take a risk. We didn't have kids or anything, and I, Russ can attest that I was kind of a theater kid, especially in high school, growing up, on the stage, kind of a ham, and really got more into that as I grew older, and thought it would be fun to take a risk and try to mesh my passions of theater, being on stage, performing, and being in that world and having that community, because I think for me, theater was really more about the family and the community that you had. You're with a cast of people and you're all working together to accomplish a common goal. And really the best times for me in theater were backstage, making connections and making friends and having that experience and just feeling like that sense of accomplishment, kind of like when we were also in church, we did shows and plays and things like that, and just having that sense of, camaraderie with everyone, and having that feeling, when you take the bow and the show's over, a sense of accomplishment. So I thought it'd be fun, since I had, amounted a little bit of cash, and also was in my life, a moment in my life where I could take a pretty substantial risk. And for me, I really had nothing to lose. And I think that's why I ended up just cold emailing a Broadway producer, which kind of sounds insane. There's actually a Statesman Journal, the local paper here, an article about it. But just cold emailed the producer on Broadway, and I found his email. He had like a blog, actually. He was doing some marketing to other producers and wrote a book, and ended up cold emailing him, just asking him some questions. Nothing, not like a hard sell or anything, but it's like, if I can ever do anything, or if I can ever, look at some of your shows and maybe perhaps invest and just get my foot in the door, I'd really appreciate that, because I was really thinking producing was maybe something I'd be interested in. And he actually emailed me back like 2 hours later. And this is a Tony Award-winning Broadway producer. And I was like, I can't believe this person actually took the time to email me back. Random person from Oregon, small town. And he emailed me back, struck up a relationship. Literally 2 weeks later, I flew out to New York to talk with him, and he took me under his wing, offered me a job. And it was like, I just tend to move quick and dive right into things and take the opportunity. So it was a matter of months before I was now living in New York City, working on Broadway. And that's really when I got my marketing school kind of crash course, because I started doing their marketing for their Broadway shows as a producing firm that did about 4 to 5 shows a year. And so what I was in charge of essentially was the digital marketing, so online paid advertising. So at the time, big really on social media like Facebook, Instagram ads, still a big deal now for sure, but it's changed a little bit. Then got really into email marketing and funnels and automation and that kind of stuff. So really just dove into the online marketing type world. I'm trying to get to chocolate, I promise. I'm going to get there.
Oh, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Okay,
Keep
cool.
going. I'm just excited. I'm still excited about Broadway. I'll just interject that, my beautiful wife, Leah, she and I and our kids, Kyla and Connor, we have all been blessed to go to a few Broadway shows. It's what a wonderful, exciting thing. So keep going.
Yeah, it's a crazy world. And for me, I was, like a kid in a candy shop, and it was very interesting to take a look at the behind the scenes stuff, not literally behind the stage, but also the business angle, like the producing, how producing works, the different levels of producers, how to assemble a cast. And really it's a business. Like every show is its own business. It's its own LLC usually. And you really have to, build your team very quickly, raise a lot of money. And then, the marketing is just a whole nother world too. So that was really, really an education. I worked in Times Square on the 40th floor of a high-rise building, just going into work every day. Anyway, so off of that, I ended up learning a lot about marketing, learning a lot about digital advertising, and really thought, man, you could apply these skills to like pretty much anything, it seemed like at the time. So I ended up starting kind of a side hustle while I was doing that, because, it's kind of what I do. So I ended up starting a theater merchandise kind of side hustle. Since I was in the Broadway world already, I knew kind of like the demographics, the advertising, I already had kind of these audiences built in. So I ended up starting, what I noticed really was that you could go into a Broadway show and get merchandise in the lobby, but no one had really taken like old shows and shows that were currently running and done the online thing really well, because there's Broadway, there's theater kids everywhere. And, theater kids in Oklahoma are paying really close attention to what's going on in Broadway. It's their dream. They're just obsessed with some of these, people. They look up to them so much. So I was like, let's take merchandise and swag and all this stuff and put it online and let the kids feel like they're part of this theater club together. And kind of my philosophy is remove barriers by, saying like anything from like a shirt that was, from Wicked or something like that, to like just a blanket statement that said a shirt that would say like, warning, I break into show tunes. Just for something to like, people to have, theater kids to have like a club that they were a part of. So that was actually called thespianswag.com. And that was my first e-commerce kind of business. So I blended my marketing with e-commerce at that point, and it ended up being a business that I grew. So I had to move out to New Jersey. I had to quit my marketing job with the blessing of the producer. And I actually ended up producing too with that team for a while. But anyway, I grew this company and it ended up having a warehouse and pick, pack, and ship division. And we ended up selling that company to a private equity firm. So that was kind of my first build and sell moment. And then really quickly, I built and sold another company called Pop Colors. We don't have to get into that too much. But this is getting to chocolate because while I was in New Jersey, it was kind of a stone's throw away from Hershey, Pennsylvania. And me, I love, really fascinated with entrepreneur stories, especially during like the Industrial Revolution kind of time frame, Rockefeller, Vanderbilt. But what really separated Hershey out was really the way he treated people and the way he built a business. Now, of course, no one's perfect, and you can argue a few things with Hershey, of course, but really he built this utopia out in the middle of nowhere before he even figured out milk chocolate. Took a huge risk, but $7 million at that time, which of course is a ton of money. Building this factory, building this town, coming up with this utopia, and then actually didn't figure out making milk chocolate until 7 years after that project started. So just a crazy story. Then after that, this is before all the labor laws and everything. He took care of people. He paid them more than anybody else was making. He gave them good deals on houses. And then finally, when he actually, his life was coming to an end, he gave the whole company to what's called the Hershey Trust. And that's originally started out as an orphanage for orphans to come get a really, really good education, live with like a host family, and have a really great experience in giving kids a chance who minorities and things like that wouldn't normally have a chance. And now the Hershey Trust is expanded, but it's still all charitable. And anyway, just really fascinated with that. Took day trips out to Hershey, just got really, really into his story. Started making chocolate at home, and here's where we're finally getting into chocolate now. And just for fun, as we know, there's a lot of chocolate out there. The chocolate thing has been done, but there are a few things that really are happening in the current world that made chocolate an opportunity. And so I think that has a lot to do with timing.
Hey, Ben, let me jump in right there because I'm going to
Mhm.
let you keep going. I
Yeah,
just want to say that you've lived 2 or 3 people's lifetimes already, and we're finally getting to chocolate, but
yeah,
you've done so many amazing things, and this is what I want to encourage people today. When I talk about living the life you choose, Ben's really stepped forward. He's taken advantage of the opportunities that he's had. We all live in this abundant world where there's so many opportunities and possibilities. Ben stepped forward. Look at the amazing things at his young age that he's been able to accomplish already. And now embarking on chocolate, it's just amazing. So not only, can he do these things, but he has done them. So here we go. So now we're up to chocolate. Keep going.
yeah. And I will say really quick, it all started with one email, and I think that's the difference sometimes. And for me, it's I guess I had nothing to lose, and you have to be willing to not take it personally if someone says no. And
Yep.
we can talk more about that later, but I think that
Absolutely.
sometimes the difference only is pushing send. It really is. Like there was nothing special about me that like for that producer to reply to me. It was just the fact that I reached out and emailed him. So anyway, going to chocolate now, making chocolate at home. Ended up moving back. So obviously, like with the New York situation, COVID hit, and my wife and I were kind of already thinking about coming back to Oregon because we have all of our families over here, being close to family. Ended up moving back over here after that whole Hershey experience, and about 2 months after we moved back, my wife and I both ended up choosing a vegan lifestyle. So we went completely dairy-free and meat-free. And we can talk about that if you want, about why. But I mean, for me, it was several different reasons. And really, the opportunity where finally a fascination of chocolate met opportunity was I noticed the plant-based milk market was very, very just booming. It still is. It's about 15% of the entire milk market, including dairy milk now. And I thought that was kind of the test to say, hey, this is going to happen. This plant-based movement thing, and also the next step from just going from liquid type milks that are plant-based, like what else in food is made with milk that is not just liquid milk, but is, milk is used as a base for baking or ice cream, and all these types of things. And really, it hit me, the actual idea for chocolate, when I was going to a drive-in movie in Newburgh. And I stopped at a store because I really had a craving for like a Reese's cup or just some kind of milk chocolate. And I thought surely there would be something for, vegans that was not dark chocolate, but more of like a milk chocolate texture, creaminess, and something that was like a grab and go thing. You could just eat a bar in one sitting, not like a dark chocolate bar where you eat a couple squares and then put it in the pantry for a while. Like I wanted something to eat with popcorn, things like that. So I just stared at the chocolate aisle for like 10 minutes, and it was just unbelievable that I couldn't find anything. So I thought, milk is sugar, fat, and protein. Surely it can't be super hard to, little did I know, but it can't be that hard to just replace those, sugar, fat, and protein with plant-based versions. And that's where kind of my foundation with Hershey and my fascination and making chocolate really met the opportunity, and, spent one batch of chocolate in something called a melanger. It takes about 24 hours to make. So I did 248 days, maybe 2 days off in between that whole time, but 248 days pretty much straight of making chocolate until I found something that was, I get obsessed. That's also a characteristic of my personality. It's true. I really, once I find something, I just have an incredible ability to focus on it until I figure it out. And once I figured it out, I took another risk. I leased 5,000 square feet. That was an empty box of concrete. And for the next 9 months, put in plumbing, electrical, and started building a chocolate factory because I also wanted to control the whole process. So now Chomp Chocolate was born, and we are a bean to bar. So that means we're making chocolate bars from cocoa beans. So we're controlling the roasting and the processing all the way down to pouring into bars and packaging. And we're also a completely vegan company and focusing more on the consistency and texture of a milk chocolate as opposed to a dark chocolate. We do have dark chocolates, but our core competency as a company is to take milk chocolate into a new era without the cows. So there we go.
There you go. Well, you know what? And you know what the blessing for me is? Ben's store with all of his chocolate and where he makes it is like 5 minutes from my house. Woohoo! So
yeah, too convenient.
So we'll start off with that. I was going to show one of your chocolate bars today, Ben, but unfortunately I ate them all. And
okay,
so
I have one right here if you want
to. Yeah, show us one of your bars there.
Well, here's the original one. So we're definitely branding more of a chocolate brand, not. I don't know. We're trying to be accessible and available for everyone. We want to be called a chocolate company that happens to be vegan because we don't want you to feel like you're compromising when you taste it. It's going to be a good creamy milk chocolate. So,
well, and I will attest to that because I have eaten several, and it is delicious. My wife, who is a chocolate fanatic, loves it, Ben. And so what I want to, this is really interesting because this opens a whole new world. Right now, there's several other live streamers on this in the comments. They're all thinking, I can see it already, I got to get this chocolate guy on because I need to talk to him some more about this amazing opportunity that he's taking advantage of. It's like moving into everything that's changing and moving in our culture. You're changing and moving right along with it, but still making yummy, yummy stuff.
Yeah, I think that it's the last few years with the vegan kind of plant-based movement. We hate using the word vegan because there's kind of a stigma, but really they've been, people are really proving that you don't have to compromise in taste, and this is something that we can do as a people, and it's just part of our natural evolution. I mean, we're not eating the same things we ate 100 years ago, or if we are, they're a lot different, right? It's looking a lot different, and for some reason, in some ways, maybe we should go back to eating some things we did. But I think for us, really for me, the whole point of the company was if I can't get something that tastes the same, then the mission doesn't really matter because the taste has to support the mission. The mission won't support the taste, if that makes sense. So, so our two missions are really taking milk chocolate into a plant-based, era. And my bet as an entrepreneur and who, the CEO of Chomp is really that this is how we're going to be consuming milk chocolate in 30 years, and dairy milk will be a specialty minority. And I think that that's really true. That's the bet we're making. That's why we're branded like this, and we're not the vegan chocolate company or Earth Friendly Chocolate Co. or something like that. We think we're just going to be a normal chocolate company. And the other part of that mission really is there's we don't have to go down this too far, but people may or may not know listening, there's a huge issue with chocolate and slave labor and where our chocolate's coming from. And it's really, really important that we confront that. And consumers are really caring about where their food's coming from, even if it's not, even before it gets to America, right? The beginning of the supply chain. So we're working with a company called Uncommon Cacao, and we actually have a QR code on all of our beans. And this is on our website too. And it actually says all the farmers who worked on the harvest, their actual names, what they were paid, where the beans were picked, and then it has video interviews with the farmers as well. So for me, if we can't do all these things, there's really no point, because it has to be everything. It can't. That doesn't mean we're perfect and we don't have a footprint or something like that. It just means that there's these things that we know we can do right now, and those are super important. But behind all that, if it doesn't taste good, it doesn't really matter, because people at the end of the day, and I don't blame them at all, are going to judge and vote with their wallets and their taste buds.
Yep.
And I think that it's so important that we prove to them that this is not a compromise. This doesn't taste like broccoli because it's vegan, right? It's amazing what people think, and that's fine. There's a lot of education and a lot of hesitancy, and I totally get it. I mean, 2 years ago, I was in that boat too. But I think for me, it's exciting to have an opportunity to show people that we can eat chocolate and feel good about it going into the future, with all the problems we're facing with labor and with rainforest devastation, and then also climate change and things like that. So,
well, first of all, I want to say that with my taste buds, it's delicious. It tastes like regular milk chocolate. Years ago, my son Connor got us involved in almond milk and oat milk, so we drink a lot of those milks to begin with. But both of my children, who Ben, are both are lactose intolerant. They both have to drink other milks. So there's a lot of people that don't have a choice in that and still want some delicious milk chocolate, which my whole family does. So my good friend, Dr. Noopy, is asking, and Noopy is amazing. She is a medical doctor, nodding her head and agreeing with all the things you're saying, Ben. And she wants to know if it's available in the UK.
It's actually we're in a few places. On chompchocolate.com, we have a store locator. So we actually are in a few random places in the UK. But we are going to be focusing on getting some distribution soon. The design agency that came up with all of our packaging, they're based in the UK, in Scotland. So we're actually they have some connections. We're working with them to get into some more chain type stores. So hopefully we can announce that soon. We always post that kind of stuff on our social media. So definitely a plan for the future for sure. So.
Yeah, well, that is a great idea, because a lot of people watching today are outside the United States as well. And Noopy is over she is in Manchester, England. Okay. So she's in that area. And she's saying hello to you now because you said hi to her. And amazing people on here, Ben. And this whole topic is so interesting. So interesting. And I just want to, again, tell everybody, this is all about how amazing people connect. How did Ben connect? He sent an email. He took a chance. My son, who Ben knows well, was the little drummer in our church back when Ben was a teenager. My son, because of an email, was double Grammy nominated this last year, because he went to work for a mastering company down in the LA. He's a musician, but he works during the day for this mastering company, mastered two of the album of the year nominees this year. So
I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Yeah, and that was off an email too, Ben. Same thing. He sent a cold email, and they brought him in. They checked out his abilities and talents, and that's where he is, besides traveling and singing. But I also love to brag on that. All the music from these shows that I do, live streams, are all written, produced, and made by my son as well. But anyway, so Ben, connection. You're getting out there. You get this email. You build a life. You've made some changes, but you're moving, and now you're back, and you're able to see your family. You're able to put this great business together. I am just so excited for you, and I'm really excited that we've reconnected. And you are so close to me, because I'm going to be coming over to your store again and getting some more chocolate. We're trying not to eat. This is a question for you. So we are eating really good right now, real healthy.
Yep.
And so tell everybody why your chocolate is more healthy And even if you are on a healthy eating plan, why your chocolate is more healthy than regular chocolate.
Oh man. Well, okay. So
Just a brief reason.
yeah. So okay. Well, first of all, we're trying to straddle the line between, like, we of course feel like our chocolate's healthier, but we're also trying to be a vegan indulgence. So
Sure.
it's a fine line we're straddling, because we also know that people want that. We don't want to ask them to to quit all their indulgence. But we are about 10% less sugar than like the leading chocolate bar. So we're definitely less sugar. We're also, I mean, 6 ingredients in our original chocolate bar, all from the earth, all organic. And then no, for us, we feel like dairy milk poses its own issues, personally, with hormones and things like that. So we think everything coming from plants and being less sugar just naturally is going to be healthier. But we are trying to be more of a replacement for the indulgence kind of chocolate. But we do think naturally our chocolate's going to be healthier. So I guess hopefully that's a good answer. But so we are kind of straddling that line. But we do have
Yeah.
sugar. It's like definitely have cane sugar in there. So yep.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
that's good. I mean, you're right. We all need a little
Yep.
indulgent. And just
Yep.
as Noopy is referring to my beautiful wife is the queen of portion control. That's another thing
Yep.
that everybody needs to remember. Just because you eat a little chocolate, you can control the portion you eat, and that makes a big
Yeah.
difference on how healthy you are. So, okay, Ben, listen, we got to wrap
Yep.
things up. I've
All
had
right.
so much fun talking with you. I've let things run over. You and I are going to have to continue to talk, and we're still going to go to coffee. But in the
Sounds good.
meantime, give everybody your last words, what you want them to remember, and then how they get in touch with you.
Yeah, I would say everybody, going back to that email, just take a chance. And I think for me, you have to be okay with getting a lot of no's to get that yes, and not take it personally. And I think don't get down if you get a no. Just keep going, and keep sending the emails, and you never know what's going to happen. And I think that's my best advice, really. I mean, a lot of things in my life have happened just because I got out of my comfort zone and asked, or sent the email. So and yeah, for Chomp, if you want to follow the journey, I think the best way to follow us is at Chomp Chocolate on Instagram. And I'm always posting. I've actually documented on Instagram TV. If you go back, like, building the factory. So like the first video is me in the factory with nothing, just talking about what I want. And then if you just keep watching, you'll see the whole factory behind me here being built. And yeah,
Very
so I
cool.
think that's the best way to get in contact with us. And if you want to buy our chocolate, chompchocolate.com. So if you want to check it out. Yep.
Chompchocolate.com. And
Yep.
okay, so those things will magically appear in the comments if they're not already in the show notes. For my wonderful assistant, thank you, Ever. And I just want to thank you so much today, Ben. I want to let you know that this has been super interesting because all the stuff that you're doing, not everybody is doing vegan chocolate, doing an alternative, something interesting, fun, but also great. And so I just am thankful that you've taken all that you've learned, you put it into something fun that we all enjoy. Chocolate. Who doesn't love chocolate, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I actually, I was speaking at an event the other day, and somebody did raise their hand and said they didn't like chocolate. I said, "You've got to be kidding me!" Okay, first person
No.
I've ever met that doesn't like chocolate. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
think
I
most
think
people do.
that's the whole thing of, for the company, is like, things can be depressing, the news can be depressing, the climate can be depressing, but we want to celebrate and enjoy the fact that we can change things, and keep eating chocolate into the future, and that'll make people feel good. So I really appreciate the opportunity, Russ, and it was good to reconnect with you, and looking forward to chatting more with you. So
You bet. You bet. Me
yeah.
too. So I'm going to send you back to the green room. Hang tight,
All right.
and I'll be there in just a moment. It says I wrap things up. Thanks again, Ben.
Thank
All right. Of course, I cut him off mid-word. There you go. So, everybody. So, thank you. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. You know what an amazing community this is? Really, connection and community building is what marketing is all about. It is the foundation for marketing. I would argue that with anybody. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you want to sell a product or service, you need to market, build community. You need to connect. You need people, right? You need people. So I want to thank you all for being here today because you are all amazing, and still people coming in the comments. I appreciate you guys sticking with us. And listen, if you want to get in touch with Ben, all of his stuff is in, all of his connection links are in the show notes and the comments. You can just click on them and you can go there and you can connect with Ben if you want him on your show. If you just want to talk with Ben, if you want to just buy chocolate. And yeah, it's going to be an amazing future for that young man. So listen, everybody, thanks again. Don't forget, tomorrow, Tuesday. Woo! We have a special episode of Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. And it's going to be with Willamette Valley Christian Supply, Kevin, here in Albany, Oregon. Okay, listen, don't not tune in because it's a local store, because there's some amazing information coming. Amazing man, and you can do a similar thing to all the things that he's done in your community. And a special on my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. Don't forget, tomorrow and Wednesday, get $5 off if you order it through either Willamette Valley Christian Supply through Kevin directly, or you go to my website and go to russhedge.com/buybooknow, and you can get a copy of that today, and you can save $5 on that. So listen, thanks again for being here today, everybody. And until we see you again, have a great day and a great life. All right, bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. Be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an amazing day.